Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information. You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Issues. He engaged us very well, and we discussed issues of national importance. I'm well happy to see him back at the office and is doing his work.
Unity and development on the table as President Buhari hosts National Assembly leadership.
Well, I think this government has shown beyond doubt its commitment to transparency.
Information Minister re-echoes open government system. 86 associations seek registration as political parties. Plus, Boko Haram splinter group leader arraigned. Welcome to this edition of NTA Network News with me, Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Issues relating to national unity, stability, and socio-economic development took center stage as President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to presiding officers of the National Assembly. It was the first formal engagement between the President and the leadership of the Parliament since returning from his vacation in the United Kingdom. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Bukola Saraki and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, arrived at the State House at about 12:15 Tuesday afternoon. The two presiding officers of the National Assembly were immediately ushered into the President's office, where they interacted with the Nigerian leader behind closed doors. Details of their discussions, which lasted about 40 minutes, were not made public, but Senate President Bukola Saraki told newsmen that apart from formally welcoming the President back from vacation, their meeting also centered on critical national issues.
He engaged us very well, and we discussed issues of national importance. I'm well happy to see him back at the office and is doing his work. Budget is ongoing. the economy, things that we passed in absence, the convention of the CGN, issues to do with the Euro bond, all general issues that are pending, and some other issues that are issued ambassadorial that is due, the stability in the Niger Delta, a long range of issues we covered in this short period of time.
It is one government, there's no division. If he fails, we all fail. And so it is in realization of this that we will always extend the needed support to ensure that he succeeds so that our government will be rated as a successful government.
Senate President Bukola Saraki and Speaker Yakubu Dogara, who were accompanied to the State House by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Kau Samaila, assured the nation that everything is being done towards ensuring that the 2017 budget is passed before the end of this month, as earlier promised. The Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, also met President Muhammadu Buhari behind closed doors. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now to the National Assembly. Senate has acknowledged the receipt of President Muhammadu Buhari's letter of resumption to work after his vacation. National Assembly correspondent Wazir Zayano reports that Senate President Bukola Saraki read the letter at Tuesday's plenary.
In the letter, President Muhammadu Buhari stated that he is sending the message to the Senate in compliance with Section 145 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to intimate the Senate of his resumption to duty.
I write to intimate the Senate that I have resumed my functions as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with effect from Monday, 13th March 2017, after my vacation.
In another letter to the Senate, the executive sought approval to extend application of the Federal Capital Territory Authority 2016 Statutory Appropriation Act until 30th of April 2017.
It will be recalled that the 2016 FCT appropriation was assented to on the 29th of August 2016, a fact that affected its implementation in respect of capital projects and other expenditure. In this connection, numerous payments for critical and essential projects are now outstanding.
The Senate also rejects request by the Comptroller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Hamid Ali, to reschedule his appearance before the lawmakers on Wednesday. Senate President Bukola Saraki stated position of the senators after several of them objected to the request.
The position of the Senate is clear. He should appear tomorrow as directed by the earlier resolution, as directed both in uniform as by the resolution.
The Comptroller General wrote a letter that he will not be able to appear on Wednesday as the date coincides with routine management functions of the establishment. In a similar development, President of the Senate reminded the floor that the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, is to appear before the Senate on the same Wednesday for his confirmation hearing. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayano, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has received an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari notifying members of his resumption of office on Monday, the 13th of March 2017, after his vacation. The legislators thereafter passed for third reading a bill for an act to repeal the Consumer Protection Act to establish the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, which seeks to protect the rights of consumers in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
Plenary commenced with Speaker Yakubu Dogara reading President Muhammadu Buhari's resumption letter to the House.
In compliance with Section 145 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, I write to intimate the House that I've resumed my functions as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with effect from Monday, 13 March 2017.
Executive Legislature communication continued as members urged the federal government to set up a task force to beef up security to check the nefarious activities of armed men in Buruku Federal Constituency, other parts of Benue State and all the states in Nigeria. This came in a motion moved by Representative Emmanuel Oke Jeff, which also resolved to invite heads of security agencies to brief the legislators on the matter.
To urge the Inspector General of Police to investigate the wanton killings and destruction of properties, natural habitat and livelihood of communities in Binem Council Ward, arrest the perpetrators of this barbaric act and restore security in those areas.
Still on communal matters, where Representative Sani Zoro moved that the National Emergency Management Agency should urgently send relief materials to the displaced victims of Ile-Ife communal crisis and compensate the victims.
Let me observe that as it is in the tradition of this House to send delegations to sympathize with authorities and victims.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Agricultural Machinery Supply and Management Agency, which seeks, among other issues, to fully mechanize agriculture in Nigeria, was passed for second reading, sponsored by Representative Abdullahi Umar Farouk from Kebbi State. The House observed a minute silence in honor of two former governors who died recently, Samuel Ogbomudia, former governor of Edo State, and Robert Adeyinka Adebayo, who is also a former governor of defunct Western Region, and all those who died in the Ile-Ife crisis. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has again re-echoed the federal government's determination to operate an open system where both the state and non-state actors come together and take a common position in the interest of the people. Anthony Folsom reports that the minister stated this at the meeting of the National Steering Committee of the Open Government Partnership in Abuja.
The Open Government Partnership is an initiative that aims to secure concrete commitment from national and subnational ends to promote transparency, empower citizens, fight corruption, and promote technologies that will strengthen governance. It was formed in 2011 with a membership strength of over 70. Nigeria is a signatory to the Charter.
I think this government has shown beyond doubt its commitment to transparency. To me, the beauty of including non-state actors is for them also to see the challenges government is facing. You see, sometimes when you are from there, from the outside, you think everybody in government is just daft, every government is so corrupt, or everybody in government is just inept. But when you are now part of the platform, you become part of the solution.
Mr. President has given commitment to open government partnership, and what we are trying to do here is to package.
We are still in the process of improving the budgeting process to make it more inclusive in terms of citizens' participation.
Minister of Communication Adebayo Shitu said Nigeria is long overdue for e-governance.
E-government would ensure that you don't even need paper in government processes.
It also means that the policies of government must be one that carries the citizens alongside. And we're not just talking about federal here, we're talking about both the state and local communities.
The Director General of the Nigerian Governors Forum said the governors are ready to key into the program. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, says the federal government's economic recovery and growth plan is expected to take Nigeria out of recession and also propel her towards becoming an economic giant by 2020. You're speaking along with other guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf now reports.
Economic recession has hit Nigerians hard, which is why government is evolving strategies to ensure that the country gets out of it. The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan therefore aims at ensuring sustained inclusive growth over a period of 4 years. The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, explained targeting restoration of growth, human development, and making the economy globally competitive.
We expect a major restructuring of the economy by the time we get to 2020. We expect to move from a recession to grow at an average of 4% a year.
It's a plan that belongs to all Nigerians. So there's an element in the plan that pertains especially to the vulnerable. So there's a social inclusion element. In other words, this implementation is not only an elite thing, but it's something that stakeholders in the country have something to say.
Other guests on the program agreed that lack of coherent planning by successive governments was responsible for Nigeria's economic woes.
And we must develop the capacity, for the MDAs to be able to implement the capital budget, because over the past years, that has been the bane of budgeting.
From the look of seeing, this plan is actually made by experts. So if experts will be involved in the implementation, and they'll be given free hand to say what is right about it, then certainly it is achievable.
While pledging unalloyed support to the new initiative, the guest implored government to give a free hand, necessary logistics and funding to the operators of the plant for it to succeed. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The National Petroleum Investment and Management Services, NAPIMS, a corporate service unit of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has clarified that it did not spend $9 million on staff transfer. Neither did it commit $2 million to vehicles maintenance as reported during its submission at the 2016 budget performance session with the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream. A statement by the Group General Manager, Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Ndu Ugamadu, says the amount actually consists of appropriated items on pension fund, retirement benefits, and staff transfers. For the avoidance of doubt, the NNPC explained that it maintains its core value of integrity, transparency, and accountability in all its activities for the benefit of all Nigerians and other stakeholders in the petroleum industry. The final report of the ongoing Constitution and Electoral Reform Committee will not be tailored to favor any political zone, group, or individual. The committee chairman, Senator Ken Namani, disclosed this in Gombe during the public hearing for the Northeast Geopolitical Zone. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
In continuation of their assignment, the Constitution and Electoral Reform Committee members were in Gombe, where they held a public hearing for the Northeast Zone. While commending the Buhari administration for restoring peace in the zone, Gombe State Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo said reforms such as the Senator Ken Namani-led committee indicates government desire to further develop the nation's democracy.
These electoral reforms will enhance a level playing field, raise voter turnout from its lower rate of 43.65%, that is in 2015, presidential election, and translate into a more credible election that meets international standards.
Our report will not be tailored to favor any political party nor any group of individuals, because our country requires something that can unify us more, not something that will divide us.
Equal funding of political parties, total ban on political offenders, as well as ways to address hate speeches during electioneering campaigns were some of the issues that dominated discussion at the forum. The committee has so far conducted the public hearing in 5 out of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. In Gombe, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Still on political matters, 86 associations are currently seeking registration as political parties before the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this during a quarterly meeting with all registered political parties in Nigeria. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Benankudu has the report.
The quarterly consultative meeting was for INEC officials and the 40 registered political parties to discuss ways of collaboration in improving the nation's electoral process. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu welcomed 10 political parties who were registered were readmitted after court judgments. The meeting, he explained, focuses on INEC strategic plan in 2017 to 2021, internal party democracy, party financing, and continuing voter registration exercise, among other electoral issues.
Violence in the conduct of party primaries in particular and election in general, internal party democracy, and due diligence in the nomination of candidates to INEC for election, the outstanding Anambra Central Senatorial rerun election, and a brief presentation by INEC on new ICT platforms and innovations.
We will continue to support INEC because we are both stakeholders towards building a sustainable democracy in this country.
The meeting later entered into closed session. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Benankudu, NTA News.
The 23 officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, accused of being complicit in the Rivers State rerun elections, are now to be charged to court on the 7th of April. The initial plan to arraign them before the Federal High Court could not hold Tuesday due to an objection on the jurisdiction of the court. Edino Justice has details.
Officials were to have been arraigned on a 7-count charge, but they could not take their plea as the defendant counsel filed an objection on the territorial jurisdiction of the court. After hearing arguments on the stay of plea pending the resolution of the motion, Justice John Soho adjourned the hearing on the application filed by the defendant to the 7th of April 2017.
So you know jurisdiction is very fundamental. That has to be resolved first before any step is taken. Otherwise, whatever the court does will be a nullity. So we have to go back and respond to their motion.
The 23 INEC electoral officials are in court following their indictment by the police investigation panel on the December 10, 2016 National and State Assembly rerun elections in Rivers State. The panel, led by DCP Damian Okoro, submitted its report on the 7th of last month, where it alleged that the officers compromised in their line of duties and the sum of over 111 million naira recovered from them. Aiding of Justice, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Ahead on the news, disarmament program yields results. Details when we return. Don't go away.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Babe, who be this? You?
I got this, okay? Just...
Found it. Honey, you can keep him. I've got this.
Do anything to get your Airtel SIM back on if you haven't used it for 30 days or more to enjoy 20 times the recharge value. Recharge 100 Naira and dial *241# to get 2,000 Naira.
Airtel, the smartphone network. This is to inform all stakeholders and the general public that the Senate Committee on FCT is organizing a one-day public hearing on 6 executive bills scheduled as follows. Thursday, 16th March 2017. Venue, Conference Room 231, Senate Building, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Time, 12 noon prompt. Senator Dino Malaye, Chairman, Senate Committee on FCT. Announcer.
Hello? Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list. Starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliamp battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Gioni M6, always in power.
The Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, has declared 2017 as the year of the Nigerian telecom consumer. The year will focus on all issues concerning the consumer with a view to resolving them and protecting the consumer. Efforts will be made to educate, Inform and empower the Nigerian telecom consumer. The 2017 year of the Nigerian telecom consumer campaign will be flagged off on Wednesday, March 15, 2017 at the NCC's headquarters, Maitama, Abuja by 11 a.m. His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, is special guest of honor, while the guest of honor is the Honorable Minister of Communication, Barrister Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu. Professor Omar Garba Dambata, Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, NCC, is chief host. Top government officials, stakeholders, and consumers are invited to attend. All guests are expected to be seated by 10:45 a.m. Announcer Tony Ojobo, Director, Public Affairs, NCC.
The Future Assured project and its components Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships, and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Leader of the Boko Haram splinter group known as Jama'atul Ansarul Muslimina fi Bilad al-Sudan, Muhammad Usman, also known as Khalid al-Barnawi, has been arraigned before the Federal High Court in Abuja, along with 6 others. Correspondent Aliyu Tukur reports that the accused persons pleaded not guilty to all the 11-count charges.
The 11 counts border on conspiracy to commit terrorism, kidnapping, murder, possession of illegal firearms, and concealing of information to government agencies. The accused persons who were arrested over 4 years ago pleaded not guilty. The prosecution counsel, Labaran Magaji, hinted the court that due to the nature of the case, the prosecution will apply for witness protection, after which the date for hearing of the case can be fixed. While counsel to the 6th defendant, Audu Abdul Karim, urged the court to grant them time to study the case to enable them prepare their defense. He also prayed for speedy trial and that the accused be remanded in prison custody instead of DSS to enable the counsel and relatives of the defendants visit them at least once a week. Counsel to Al-Barnawi and the 5 others, Samuel Atta, aligned himself to the prayers of Audu Abdul Karim, adding that if the prison custody cannot be granted, then the court should grant visitation to enable counsel interact with defendants.
Particularly the British national who were kidnapped and murdered somewhere in Mabera area in Sokoto, and of course the Setrako 7 in Azare in Bauchi State.
Presiding Judge Justice John Soho remanded the defendants in Kuje prison and adjourned the case to the 11th of April. Meanwhile, the same Justice John Soho has adjourned the case of spokesperson to former President Jonathan campaign organization, Femi Fani Kayode, to 25th of April. This is as the result of the inability of the prosecution witness to appear in court.
the state has a duty to fund the coming to court of such witnesses.
Femi Fani Kayode is standing trial for his alleged involvement in the arms deal scandal. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Office of the National Security Advisor, in collaboration with the Nigeria Stability and Reconciliation Program, have held a validation forum to further tackle security threats in the country. The meeting also seeks to develop a policy framework and national action plan on preventing and countering violent extremism. Olayinka Ojo has the report.
In designing any action plan, a framework, you ask yourself, what is the problem?
Since August 2016, the working group has served as a broad-based consultative and multi-stakeholder platform. The framework aims at deepening democracy and governance and ensuring that citizens are involved in finding solutions to some of the challenges faced in Nigeria, particularly threat from violent extremism. The meeting is therefore guided by the United Nations Plan of Action for Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism. Coordinator, Counterterrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, Commodore Yem Musa said, key areas of focus are dialogue and conflict prevention, reconciliation, strengthening governance, engaging communities, gender equality and empowering women, among others.
Developing and implementing a PVV framework with synchronized national effort in engaging, rehabilitating, and reintegrating persons associated to violent extremism.
Deputy Program Manager Results, Nigeria Stability and Reconciliation Program, Priscilla Ankut, commended government's effort in the fight against terrorism and insecurity in the country and urged Nigerians to work closely towards ensuring safer and resilient communities.
This document actually does complement the national security strategy in ways that ensure that there's a specific focus on the issue of violent extremism across Nigeria, looking particularly at the Northeast.
The meeting hopes to validate the framework and subject it to further inputs, approval and use. In Abuja, Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Efforts to disarm cattle rustlers and armed bandits, spearheaded by the Zamfara state government and the 1 Division Nigerian Army, is yielding results as more persons surrender their weapons. This is contained in a statement from the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Osman. The statement says, over the weekend, Ensa K vigilante and some repentant cattle rustlers and armed bandits from Kango and Ensado towns in Maru local government area, Nasarawan Godel in Birnin Magaji local government area, as well as Wanaka town and Gusau local government area, handed over 1 G3 rifle, 434 Den guns, 69 locally made pistols, and 8 locally made revolvers. Others include 39 locally made multi-barrel pistols and 36 locally made double-barrel rifles. The weapons were handed over to the 233 Battalion of the 1 Division Nigerian Army in the presence of some Zamfara state government officials and representatives of various security agencies in Zamfara state. The Abuja Light Rail is expected to become operational by the first quarter of 2018. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello stated this during the inspection of the project. Mitari Igben has the report.
The Abuja Light Rail project is divided into 6 lots for ease of execution, according to officials of the FCT Transport Secretariat who briefed the minister. The ongoing construction of lots 1A and 3, covering 45 kilometers from Abuja city center through Idu to Kubwa and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, is 90% completed, with double tracks already laid and structural works ongoing in 10 out of the 12 stations earmarked for this phase of the project.
I'm very happy with the percentage level of work. We'll give the contractor full support to make sure that this project is done on time.
The project is being funded with a $500 million loan from the Chinese Exim Bank, while the federal government is providing $323 million as counterpart funding. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The Co-Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Dr. Boboye Oyemi, says FRSC is determined to strictly enforce the use of speed limiter device. Correspondent Kunle Adebayo reports that the Co-Marshal re-emphasized this during his duty tour to Osun State.
Governor Arebesola identified
indiscipline and reckless driving by motorists as the cause of most road crashes. He particularly fingered Ife-Ilesha-Akure Highway as notorious for vehicle accidents.
There is a need for us to put up regular patrol.
The Corps Marshal in his response said the agency will ensure proper implementation of the National Road Safety Strategy, which he said will reduce the frequency of road crashes.
Ife-Ilesha-Akure, the crashes. We need the support. We need to do more. We need to work with your team.
The Corps Marshal was earlier at the new state headquarters of the Commission in Osogbo, where he tasked officers to be disciplined in line with the core mandate of the agency, while commending the federal government for its support towards putting up a befitting office complex in the state. In Osogbo, Kunle Adebayo, NTA News.
State governors have been advised to grant autonomy to the state internal revenue boards to achieve efficient tax administration for national development. Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fowler, said this during the opening of the 137th meeting of the Joint Tax Board held in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Abdul Hafiz Alaya has details.
The chairman of Joint Tax Board, Babatunde Fowler, said it is expedient for all states of federation to prioritize internally generated revenue, especially now that revenue from oil is no longer sustainable. He explained that the Joint Tax Board has deployed computer systems to states' accountant general offices as part of efforts to assist states that are yet to embrace technology in their tax collection and management process for optimum performance.
For any country that wants to change its revenue profile, it has to be what I'll call private sector oriented. Private sector orientation talks about customer service, talks about profitability, talks about innovation.
The Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, had earlier attributed the state's success in internal revenue generation to deliberate changing of people, process, and technology of tax collection and management.
Tax authorities across the country can benefit tremendously from synergy and cross-pollination of ideas.
With the team, collaborations amongst tax authorities, its impact on revenue generation and service delivery to taxpayers. The 137th meeting of the Joint Tax Board had representatives of all revenue-generating agencies across the country in attendance. In Ilorin, Abdelafiz Alaya, NTA News.
The 2017 seasonal rainfall prediction by Nigerian meteorological agencies shows an annual rainfall ranging from 400 millimeters in the coastal areas, signaling a shorter length of farming season for most part of the country. The prediction also shows weather implications for health, electricity, and other sectors of the economy. Emmanuel Ayimiro has details.
By the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadis Rika, the weather prediction shows that while the coastal region had rainfall onset on the 25th of February, northern areas around Sokoto, Katsina, and Yobe states are predicted to have their onset from June 15th, 2017. With about 100 days of farming season in the north and 287 days in the south, farmers are advised to take advantage of the weather forecast.
Food production, therefore, is expected to be less than normal because we are predicting that the growing season is going to be shorter.
Therefore, necessary to put in place adequate adaptation measures to reduce the impact of climate risks.
It is hoped that the SRP communication and dissemination will be utilized by other sectors of government and taken to the rural users who need it the most for planning.
The shortage in rainfall is expected to affect hydropower generation and transportation, while the extreme weather will increase mosquitoes' prevalence. The 2017 seasonal rainfall prediction further suggested that due to excessive heat which is to occur, older people and those who suffer from dehydration or heat stress are expected to seek for medical help, failure which may lead to severe illnesses. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We have more reports from our Lagos Network Center with Vera as our guide. Hello, Vera.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening. This is Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has reserved ruling until the 23rd of March on the objections raised by the council to the former governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Kwara State, Mohammed Dele Belgore, on the admissibility of the list of beneficiaries of the sum of $115 million from the former Minister of Petroleum, Diana Alison Madueke.
It will be recalled that EFCC had notified Justice Aikau, but the former Petroleum Minister, Diana Alison Madueke, had questions to answer in the ongoing trial of Dele Belgore and the former National Planning Minister, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, over the involvement in the 450 million naira fraud. Counsel to Belgore Ebu Shofande had during the proceedings insisted that documents sought to be tendered emanated from loan docs of the maker. He drew the attention of Justice Aikau to Section 84 of the Evidence Act on tendering computer-generated evidence, as such does not comply with the stipulations of the section. He urged the court to reject it. Counsel to EFCC Rotimi Yedako raised objection and argued that there is a certificate attached to the documents sought to be tendered to authenticate same. Oyedako further told the court that the certificate came from a financial institution and signed by Boyo Ogumolade, the chief compliance officer of the institution. Justice Aikau has reserved ruling for the 23rd of March.
First Bank Nigeria Limited says it is committed to food security and economic diversification for sustainable national development. Managing Director First Bank Nigeria Limited, Adeshola Aderohan, stated this at the First Bank Agric Expo in Lagos. Ken Egbelue has details.
First Bank realizes that support for the agricultural value chain and by extension food will enable individual and communal self-reliance and self-sufficiency, which in turn translate to national growth. This is why the bank hosted an Agric Expo to enable business in the agricultural sector gain insights on how innovative solutions can support business development.
Part of the objectives of organizing today's event is first and foremost to encourage our farmers to begin to keep proper books of accounts. Secondly, to explain to them the various financing options that are available. But equally very important is to begin to provide them with financial advisory services.
As we engage our customers, as we engage our partners, we'll be able to deepen the market. We'll be able to deepen the investments, the loans, capacity building to ensure that at the end of the day, the agriculture master plan is something that's supported by all.
Minister of Agriculture echoed government's determination towards achieving sustainable agricultural development.
We will work together and call more meetings and get down to greater details on how to take these loans and apply them and how to educate farmers on what to do.
We have to transform the industrial sector by making available suitable financial resources.
With a rich heritage of over 120 years and footprints across Africa and the globe, First Bank says its venture into supporting and sustaining the food industry is one of the many ways the bank is contributing to the nation's economy. In Lagos, Ken Ebeluge, NTA News.
You're still on to NTA Network News, reaching you live from the Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja when we return after this time out. Don't go away.
Thank you, Vera. And on business news tonight, Nigeria's inflation eases for the first time in 15 months. Details of these and more with Joy Uzo.
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
It's finally here, the most anticipated sports show on live television, featuring great sports icons from ex-internationals to famed journalists. and administrators. It doesn't come bigger than the Sports Parliament, which premieres live on the NTA Network this Thursday from 11 p.m. till 12 midnight. Be a part of the biggest sports talk show on television to help chart a successful path for Nigerian sports. 11 p.m. to midnight on Thursday on the NTA Sports Parliament, where the eggheads converge.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We now go for business news, and Nigeria's inflation eases for the first time in 15 months. Details of this and more with Joy Uzo.
Latest figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics show inflation fell to 17.78 in February from 18.72 recorded in January, representing the effects of slower rises in already high food and non-food prices and favorable base effects over 2016 prices. The country is currently in a recession, and government has repeatedly assured that the economy will grow out of recession in 2017. The automobile industry has been identified as a key component of the Nigerian Industrial Development Plan, projected to enhance growth in the sector to about 13% from 7%. It is in this regard that the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, interfaced with commercial attaches of some countries in Abuja.
The second objective is to develop local content. So that is why we are planning an international conference in June.
The essence of attracting more investment to that sector is that we all need cars. There is a deficit of about several millions of cars in Nigeria.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange made a rebound Tuesday to end the session upbeat, with the all-share index advancing by 0.59%. Next is a graphic summary. And that's it on Business Network News. Will continue.
An Abuja Federal High Court has issued a bench warrant against Turkish Airlines for their refusal to appear before the court for the 3rd time. Turkish Airlines was dragged to court over alleged criminal violation of the enabling law of the Consumer Protection Council and for impunity. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, filed a 3-count charge against the airline and 2 of its principal officers. The prosecution came as a result of the consistent refusal of the airline to respond to the lawful requests of the Consumer Protection Council for full situation report on the Turkish Airlines' alleged shoddy treatment of passengers of Flight 623 from Istanbul to Abuja on the 25th and 31st of December 2015 and on the 9th of January 2016. This prompted the Consumer Protection Council to approach the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation for prosecution of the airline. Justice Babatunde Quadri adjourned the case to the 17th of April for further hearing. When I join our Maiduguri Network Center for more news with Mohammed. Mohammed, over to you.
Thank you, Muhammad. Warm welcome to Maiduguri. Over 50,000 children orphaned by the Boko Haram insurgency will be given free education by Borno State government. The state governor, Kashim Shettima, restated government's commitment towards achieving that while inspecting the school for the orphans at the former CBN quarters in Maiduguri, where widows and the orphans will also be accommodated. Mohamed Goni reports.
Governor Kashim Shettima has at various fora emphasized that one of the priorities of the Borno State government in the rehabilitation and resettlement process is catering for the over 100,000 widows and orphans of the insurgency. To this end, schools are being provided within the metropolis and environs for the orphans, in addition to the ongoing transformation of the education sector through introduction of modern teaching facilities. Governor Kashim Shettima inspected the 3 blocks of 8 classrooms where he expressed satisfaction with the quality and speed of work, also proceeded to inspect some of the vacated quarters. He directed a team of engineers to make assessment of the quarters with a view to commencing rehabilitation.
The houses, the integrity are okay generally, but there may be need for you to change some of the doors, some of the toilet fittings, and maybe the windows.
The governor also directed for replication of the hostels constructed at the 303 schools for orphans at the CBN quarters and the construction of additional 60 classrooms with modern facilities at the forestry quarters neighboring the CBN quarters for the orphans.
In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
That's it for our contribution from Maiduguri Network Center. Network News continues in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. We have more news after this break.
Of your eyes, find out on NTA Tuesday Live, focusing on World Glaucoma Day 2017. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive, informative, and educative. Join us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you.
My shoe. And to think I just bought this very expensive foreign shoe 2 months ago.
So sorry about your shoes. This is why I advise my friends to always patronize made in Nigeria products. See this shoe. It's made in Nigeria and I've had it for 2 years and it's still as good as the day I bought it.
Made in Nigeria products are good quality. And stringent government regulations and certification now mean the goods made in Nigeria meet international standards. Make the patriotic choice today. Buy right. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thank you for remaining again with NTA Network News. The Gambia's President Adama Barrow embarks on the first state visit to Europe, and a state of emergency declared in the northeastern part of the United States as huge winter storm sweeps in. This and more on Global Tidbits with Chimdemba Ndubisi.
After holding talks with the French President François Hollande, the Gambian President Adama Barrow on his first state visit to Europe will also be at the European Union headquarters in Brussels. He's to hold talks with the EU officials on the promised aid package to his country. In Kenya, doctors have called off the 100-day strike. From South Sudan comes a report that the 8 employees of a United States charity group kidnapped by rebels loyal to Riek Machar have been released. The rebels demanded aid deliveries as ransom.